Guys, we have hopped into our beautiful next game because up here in the top position representing Team Envy, give it up for MARU.
And his opponent in the bottom right, in the blue, the most fashionable man alive. He is, of course, for the Africa Freaks, ARMANI.
You know what? Now we just need Giorgio. Now we just need a tag team duo.
It's kind of funny. Back in the day, right, ARMANI was one of those up-and-coming, I want to say SKT Zergs. Dark, of course, was the other where everyone's like, man, these players are going to be the next best thing. And then Dark absolutely showed that promise. He went and, ARMANI was Samsung Galaxy, but he was one of those, like, up-and-coming Zerg players. Dark for SKT, ARMANI for Samsung Galaxy. And you're sitting there, you're looking like, okay, Dark is going to be fantastic. ARMANI's going to be fantastic. Dark absolutely lived up to that promise, winning the World Championship, winning multiple GSLs. Fantastic player. But ARMANI kind of didn't. He just kind of, in fact, he went to the Army after 2017, never really showing the promise that he has, that he showed, that the kind of skills that you looked at, you're like, man, I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, but
then he comes back from the, oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, like, he did come back in a big way last year, winning or getting third to fourth place in the GSL Season 3, only dropping about 2 to 4 versus this guy up here, so probably looking for a little bit of a revenge. But yeah, he has, I think we can say that about a lot of the players. After kind of the region locking, we have seen a lot of the KR players, the best ones, rise even higher because of the fact that you know, they had to play more versus each other. They couldn't just region jump. But the level of play that a lot of the up-and-comers have come down with is fantastic.
That it is. I'm just glad to see ARMANI finally reaching that promise that he showed 5-6 years ago. Of course, making the top 4 of the GSL is a fantastic feat. He beat MARU to do it, actually. In some crazy games when Lurker style was first getting figured out, he's just kind of running on in and burrowing Lurkers on top of MARU. And you're looking at this, it's like, there's no way this works. You're losing so much to get this burrow off, and then MARU just dies, and it happens again, and you're like, okay, well, I guess that works.
It won't happen a second time.
Surprisingly enough. Yeah.
Happens a second time.
Sorry?
No, I said, yeah, but you know, it won't happen a second time until it does.
Happens the second time. Okay.
Until it does.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear what you were saying. Blame the technical issues, of course. Downsides of doing everything online.
I know, right? Well, hey, at least we don't have like this weird camera angle where we're just like superimposed onto a really weird background like IEM. I mean, that was that was something.
No, I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where, you know, you make the best of a bad situation. Pretty cool tech. Yeah, there was some weird skew on things, but honestly, for the first show of that was pretty cool. And I very much did enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, look, if you can't import people, you can do some pretty cool stuff anyways. But now, we got this game going on in. Speed is, of course, done. Of course, ARMANI did go for the standard 330 speed timing. He's not in the cult of Solar just yet, but more importantly, it is Overlord speed as well. ARMANI showcasing a good deal of confidence in this game, as he's just going to say, look, as long as I can see what you're doing, MARU, I'm going to be totally fine. And that is exactly what he's going to see. He's going to see the Cloak Banshee. He's going to see the third base. And that's going to tell him everything he needs to know.
You know, MARU did get out a couple of additional Marines off the back of that tech lab before he started it. And I think that's kind of selling a little bit of a story to ARMANI, because we do see that Roach Warren coming down. I don't know if ARMANI really enjoys going for the Roaches, but it is pretty safe versus potentially what he might be thinking is, I know I say this a lot, a Hellbat timing, because of the fact that there's so many Hellions out, and because of the fact that he saw that MARU was only pumping Marines. He wasn't going for Stim. He wasn't going for anything else.
Well,
I think
you know,
he might
I
be
mean,
misreading.
Nah, this is, of course, Lightshade, and Lightshade is a very good Roach map. So honestly, I'm not all of that worried. Actually, this is a lot of Roaches coming on out here. Feels like Armani may be looking to go for a timing, but this is a weird drone timing count, right? At 48 odd workers, this is not. Oh, we got a drop. Are we seeing a? Where's this drop lord getting morphed on?
Are we seeing a German taxi?
Are we seeing a German taxi against a Terran player as Zerglings actually find their way on into the natural as the wall is down? So we're starting to see some SCVs dying immediately, which means, of course, that the Hellions are on the other side of the map, which means that these roaches will not get scouted. These roaches Ravagers getting morphed on in here. We got a German taxi getting floated on the other side of the map. 4 queens in this Overlord. Now we got a couple queens on the defensive as well. And of course, with the scores here, all we can see is some gas going on down. Which means the Banshees are not in position. This is so cool. Actually, from Armani, I've never seen this. We got a German taxi against a Terran player, and I think it's going to work. This is double the army supply for Armani. The Banshees can't do anything because there are queens here, and of course, the Banshees are kind of that common hold against the roaches, but with the queens on top of things, that's not a thing. The wall is going to get breached, and what in the world does MARU do here?
I have no idea because he only has those Hellions. He's desperately trying to get out a siege tank, but the wall is already dead. The queens are in the main base, and the Banshees are going to be shelling away. There is stim, so he's got to be a little bit careful. He does lose 2 queens a little bit needlessly there. He's not transfusing either, so I gotta say a little bit sloppy on the execution, but a big bile right there, taking out some of those medevacs. These Marines are getting lower and lower. Armani, though, needs to get more damage done, because if he doesn't, MARU has 3 bases. He has mules for days. So, yeah, you're really on the ropes here as Armani, and honestly, it's starting to look like MARU might be able to hold with this positioning.
Now we're just waiting for reinforcements as more and more Zorglings, they come flooding on in, and you got to remember, all the Banshees are dead, which means these roaches, these Ravagers are just that much more powerful than they already were. Now, of course, it is difficult to find your way up on the ramp, but we're going to see some biles go on down. Those biles are going to be actually really nice, and of course, the barracks is burning down, though. There will be a full-on repair on that. But where are we at? We're at 29, 28 workers here for 36. But Armani, he's just pile driving on in once again. Zerglings, of course, onto the top of the SCVs on the third base, making sure that there is no mining anywhere.
He corrupted this starport as well, so there's no additional medevacs, and the medevacs that he does have are running out of health. Really smart little plays here, and yeah, with the reinforcements coming in, MARU supply absolutely plummeted. I don't even think that the OP mules are going to be enough to save him here. He doesn't even have combat shields, by the way.
No, he doesn't have any tech labs left on any of the barracks. One barracks has gone down. A second barracks is going to go down. And you know what the old saying is? You get on top of a Terran's production, you can't. They just can't win the game anymore. That's not exactly a great saying, but anyway, it is accurate. As now the barracks is going to get corrupted as well. This is so cool here from Armani. As once again, notice he's just got a couple Zerglings on the third base, make sure there's no mining there. He's got a couple Zerglings on the natural, just knocking off all the structures, making sure that eBays don't happen, things like that. And behind this, 1-1 is of course on the way. Roach speed is on the way. These roaches of Armani are going to be that much more powerful. As yeah, MARU, sure, he's got 3 command centers. I'm not sure it matters, Passer.
They're in the air. If you
can't mine from them, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, exactly. You know. Well, it will be a little bit difficult to get up this ramp. The biles should be more than enough to kind of force his way in. Roaches, even though they don't really scale too well versus bio, it doesn't even matter, as not even waiting for the upgrade there. GG is called, as Armani, very nice. Awesome first game.
That was such a cool build there from Armani.
And you know what? I understand why he did it, because remember, recently MARU has been going for the late game a lot more often. He's kind of been going for this big turtle Terran style where he just pushes out with ghosts, sets up a liberator line with those siege tanks, and kind of just forces you to push into him rather than moving out. So I'm sure that Armani does not want to let that situation go. Because if you get into that situation, MARU will just wear you down and crush you, especially on a map with a shorter rush distance.
Absolutely. And it's kind of funny. So I went and I still have Armani's Team Liquid page loaded on up. And you know what? They got the nickname section. Do you know what Armani's nickname is apparently?
Burning?
No.
A-Dizzle.
A-Dizzle. I don't know who coined that one, but it makes me very happy.
That is one of the best ones that I've heard so far. But you know what? Speaking of good games, we do have a little bit of a cheeky situation going on down here in the bottom position. Those SCVs are going on a little bit trip for this guy down here, Team NV's MARU.
They're going on a trip on their favorite rocket ship, hoping to shoot MARU into a 1-1 scoreline here. I don't know, is that enough memes for you? Anyways, gonna be a 2 racks coming on here. Could be, of course, be some sort of 3 racks play. You do 3 racks with 2, well, no. It's 4 racks with 3 SCVs, but a 3 racks is still with 3 SCVs. Anyway, so we're gonna see 2 racks coming on in here. ARMANI doesn't really look like he's gonna get the scout off, actually.
Yeah, kind of just taking a look at the positioning. Obviously, this one guy's might shift around once he sees that there's nothing on this location. But yeah, the thing about 2 racks, why it's so good, is because it allows you to transition so much faster back up to your factory tech. You get the wall down, and behind it, you can expand. You can stay completely safe versus the counterattack. So that's what I kind of like about it. MARU, though, he does have that first Marine out. This Overlord, again, just a little bit out of position. He will send it over to the right spot, but not in time. Nowhere near in time. So now the big question is, do you decide to defend the low ground knowing that your opponent doesn't have his own natural up, or do you go for broke, pull all the drones, try and get down? The bunker is started, just barely in range, and ARMANI is now scrambling for the defense as all the drones are pulled.
It looks like ARMANI is kind of going for a spine hold here, the traditional 2 racks hold, where eventually you get a couple spines out. You put them in such a position where there is no range for the bunker, but you can still, or the bunker doesn't have range on the spines, but the spines range on the bunker. But look at this surround here. Fantastic drone drill for there from ARMANI. All of the Marines will go down for the cost of 6 drones, which is not, you would not like to spend that quite that amount. But now we have Queens out. Now we have Zerglings out. And look at this. MARU, he built a Reaper out of this.
He built 2.
That is rather interesting indeed. That is not something you see all that often, but it makes a lot of sense because we have all of the Zerglings looking to punish all of the Marines as they go on backwards. And, well, they're slow Zerglings, right? They're not going to be able to deal with the Reapers whatsoever, so you can punish the punish of the punish. And that's a pretty cool move there from MARU. But where does ARMANI go from here? I mean, he didn't die, but he also did lose 6 workers to this, which is not exactly what you want.
Indeed.
So, does he go for some sort of roach push after this? Does he go for a link flip? Does he just try to play this game out as standard? I'm not really sure. But it's going to be interesting to find out.
Yeah, definitely. MARU, though, I gotta say, he is a greedy boy here, trying to get that 3rd CC up when he has almost nothing to defend back at home. Yeah, he's got 1 fighting unit, and it's this Reaper, which is just trying to put on a little bit of pressure on the other side of the map. I mean, if it works, it's gonna be like the play of the century. If it doesn't work, then we're all gonna be like, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to. But there you go. I mean, roaches.
This is the classic MARU build, right? You 2 racks and you go greedy behind it, and you win games. But there's a reason that MARU isn't doing this as much as he used to, right? There's a reason that him proxying literally every game kind of fell off the map. And it's in part because players kind of started to realize how to do things. Now, it's interesting, ARMANI going up to 27 workers. That's, again, not one of those roach all-in timings. It's either like 19 or 34, but it's a weird game. Right, so we're going to go with that. Roaches are already on the way here. And what in the world is MARU going to have to hold this? I mean, does he have a starport?
No.
Nope. Does he have a tech lab on the factory? Nope.
Nada.
Does he have a bunker? No, he doesn't. This is, he's not an army supply. This is going to be an interesting hold here.
Yeah, definitely, as the Roach is going to be coming in. Now, if he can hold, this is the big thing. If he holds, then he's going to be in a fantastic position because he did go greedy behind it. But, yeah, it's just a matter of ARMANI is going to try and kill him. And even though MARU is up 34 workers, yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have a lot. I'm worried for him, but he will have stim. He will have stim is the best part about it for him.
Oh no. So Maru, he didn't see any of this, right? Armani took a really nice route with the Roaches and the Ravagers and the Zerglings on the left-hand side of the map here. So these two Hellions are like, hey guys, what's happening? Where is everything? And they're just gonna find the Roaches, the Ravagers. They're gonna find their way on in here into the natural. There are like 8 Marines, and that's gonna be just about it. Zerglings are gonna get on top of that immediately. All the SCVs have been pulled, but these biles are actually gonna be fair. Oh, there we go. The second bile is gonna be the juicy one here.
Oh my god.
That worker lead that you mentioned, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's non-existent. I think Armani, just off the back of 2 biles, is about to absolutely crush through. Oh my goodness, this has been an action-packed series, even though it is a bit of a shorter one, but I just don't see how MARU can hold on. He's taken so many bile shots, and he didn't really micro as well as we've usually seen him. His micro is usually pretty solid. I know he's on like physical training or something for his wrists, but still. Even gonna lose the meta.
To be fair, there it was.
I mean, he's
pulled
gonna
all the
lose.
SCV.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like to be fair, he did pull all the SCVs into a choke, and once you kind of commit to that to try to make sure that the Zerg army doesn't make its way up the ramp, there's not a whole lot of micro you can do there. And that was one of those things that he had to do, because if the Zerg found his way up the ramp, he was going to die. But if he pulled, he was going to lose a bunch of SCVs to the biles and still die. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. The big issue, Maru getting a little bit too greedy and being forced into an impossible situation. Armani is going to qualify to code S over Maru.
Hey.
That's not a result I expected.